Hello and welcome to Season 5. Today we're going to be going over the top 5 guns you guys should be using here in Season 5 Warzone. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe for more, and let's hop into this. The first gun I want to take a look at here today is going to be the Tempest Razorback. This is a really solid gun. They were buffing a whole lot towards the end of Season 4, so let's get into this build. So first thing in here is going to be the Harbinger D20. Sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness. Overall, a really great attachment here to extend out our range while making this gun more controllable. It's overall just a really solid attachment. The tune on this here is going to be all the way maxed out for that recoil smoothness and a negative 0.19 there on the bottom. Now we're going to go up in here to the barrel section and run the 16 Tanker V barrel. That increase in recoil control and bullet velocity. So we really just got to have this all locked down because this gun can kick a decent bit with the right attachments, though. It is literally a laser beam and it's so easy to be able to use. The tune on that here is going to be a plus 0.50 for recoil steadiness and a plus 12 here on the bottom for a little bit more damage range. Now we're going to go down here, and this is going to be a bit of an odd one here. And when I talked about one of my previous videos is the DM Proto Grip. So this is like way towards the end here past all the different bipods. So this is going to give us that aiming idle stability, horizontal recoil control, and recoil stabilization. So this is kind of more of a unique one to this gun. You really don't see this on any of these other builds, so definitely try this one out here. It's really solid. The tune on that is going to be a plus 0.31 and a plus 0.21. Now we're going to go on down here to the magazine section and go for that beautiful 60 round mag. I am a 60 round mag kind of guy, so I always be going for the 60. I used to try and maybe get away with like a 40, 45, somewhere around there for some of these guns if I'm playing solos, but generally speaking nowadays I only go for the 60 just because I feel like I'm still using a full mag even at 45 and I need that 60 to take someone down. Sometimes Warzone is just like that where you're just throwing out a whole mag at somebody. And then lastly, we're going to go up in here to the optics section and we're going to run the Aim Op V4. So this is such a good optic to be able to run. We love running the Aim Op V4. If you guys really wanted to, you could probably go over here and try out something like the SZ Recharge DX. Not really going to make much of a difference to your overall gun feel and build. This is going to be visually a little bit different. That's always a nice little another option if you guys want to try that out. But the tune on this here is going to be negative 0.58 and all the way maxed out there on the bottom for that far distance. So that's my full build there on the Tempest Razorback. Next up, we're going to be taking a look here at the Lockman sub. This is a gun that is so good every single season, and this is an updated build for it. So first thing in here is going to be the barrel. We're going to go for the L38 Falcon barrel. That increase in movement speed and aim down sight speed. A lot of us ran the FTAC M-sub-12 barrel. That was really good at one point, but we've definitely moved over towards the Falcon barrel, and this is 100% the way to go. So I'd recommend for you guys to only run the Falcon barrel, but if you really want a little bit more stability out of this thing, a little bit more range, you can definitely go for the sub-12 barrel. That is entirely up to you. But the tune on this here is going to be negative 0.21 and a plus 0.30 there on the bottom. Now we're going to go up in here and run the 1MW quick fire laser. So this is huge for increasing your aim down sight speed when you're actually using this gun. This is something that is, I really enjoy having the ability to ADS a little bit faster than other people in close quarters. Obviously, when your aim down sights is supposed to hip fire, you are much more accurate. So this is a great attachment. And the tuning on this laser is actually going to be a negative 0.12 and a negative 32.58. This is more of a relative number down here on the bottom. You guys could get it a little bit plus or minus that. It doesn't have to be exact. I know it's kind of difficult to be able to get it there. But now let's move on down here to the ammunition, which is going to be the 9mm frangible rounds. I was about to say the hollow point, but you could technically speaking run the hollow point or the frangible. It just kind of goes to like, what do you want? Do you want something that temporarily disables their healing or actually disables their sprint for a short period of time? Either or is going to make it a little bit easier to track down your target and hopefully take them out. It just kind of comes down to a little bit more personal preference. The tune on that here is going to be a plus 0.50 and a negative 5.52. Now we're going to go on down here and run the 40 round mag. So the 40 round mag is definitely the go-to on this gun. I was thinking, you know, very early on when we had that health increase update here towards the beginning of season 4, that everyone was going to go for the 50, and people did switch to it for a little bit, but everyone instantly gravitated back to that 40 because it really didn't make too much of a difference, and people are totally fine with running a 40 round mag, and myself included, even here in season 5, totally cool with running a 40 round mag. Now we're going to go back here for our final attachment, which is the Lockman TCG-10. This is that nice rear grip for recoil control. Just going to stabilize the gun out here a little bit, but don't worry, it's not like it's going to be, you know, super slow or anything like that. The tune on this here is going to be more geared towards aim down sight speed with a negative 0.29 and a little bit more sprint to fire with a negative 0.13. So that's my full tuning and my full build right there for the Lockman sub. Now we're gonna be checking out one of my favorite assault rifles to use right now, the M4. I absolutely love the M4. It is so good. But now let's get into the attachment breakdown for it. So the first thing here is gonna be that Komodo heavy, that horizontal recoil control. Everyone knows that the M4, especially the iron sights, you can see a ton of bouncing around in those iron sights, and the Komodo heavies really can help stabilize this gun out here quite significantly. Apart from that, we're not going to be using the iron sights. This gun will be very much so easier to use than it would be with the iron sights, but the Komodo heavy is a great attachment there. The tune on this here is going to be a +0.65 and a +0.23. Now we're going to go up in here and run the high tower 20 barrel. So this, out of all the barrels in here, is going to be the best one to be able to run that high tower 20. Recoil control, damage range, bullet velocity, and hipfire accuracy. All things we need to make this thing a prime, top tier meta AR in Warzone. The tune on that is going to be a +0.16 and -0.25. Now we're going to go down here and run the F-Tac Ripper 56. So this is an attachment we use on a variety of different builds. So aiming, idle stability, hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization. Undoubtedly, it's going to stabilize this gun out here to be so much more usable, because without this would be a very hard gun to be able to use. The tune on that here is going to be a +0.34 and also a +0.34 on the bottom. And then we're going to go down here, and so we have the option for that 45 or the 60 round mag. So it just kind of depends what you're going for. This is one I'd save for when I was playing a lot of solos. But I just always kind of never save or update my build here, but I'm probably just going to go for that 60 here now, because I am a 60 round mag kind of guy, and I do enjoy using the 60 here a little bit more so than the 45. But the 60 or the 45, it is personal preference on this, but I'm going to go for that 60 here actually now. So for our final attachment, though, we're going to go up in here and we're going to run that aim op V4. Like I said for the previous one, you could go for that SC recharge if you want to. Even maybe you can substitute out for like a red dot or something if you really want to go that route. But otherwise, the aim op V4 is going to be the way to go right here. The tune on that is going to be a -1.84, and of course, maxed out on the bottom for that far distance. This is my full builds here for the M4. Hope you guys enjoy that one. Now let's take a look here at the Cast-Off 545, a truly great AR here towards the end of the season, an absolute laser beam, and it's really good here in season 5. So first thing out here is going to be the X10 Havoc 90. Horizontal and vertical recoil control, all great things here we love to see. The tune on that here is going to be a -0.31 and a +0.26. Really going to stabilize this gun out. Now we're going to go up in here and run the IG-K30 406mm barrel. That increase in recoil control, bullet velocity, damage range, and hipfire accuracy is much needed for this gun. Makes it truly effective at those longer distances. The tune on that here is via +0.18 and -0.21. Now we're going to go down here, and I mean, you guys kind of know what the F-Tac Ripper 56 does. Ain't got to explain this one too much, but this does that aiming, idle stability, hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization. The tune on this is going to be a +0.59 and all the way maxed out here on the bottom for that aiming, idle stability. Now we're going to go down here and we'll be running that 60 round mag. You definitely need the 60 on this. This is kind of like not a non-negotiable. This gun, for whatever reason, I feel like I really enjoy having 60. My 45 just feels like it'd be nowhere close to enough in Warzone with this gun, so I just always go for the 60. Even if I'm playing solos, been playing solos, always have gone for that 60, so I always go for that. And lastly, aim op V4, you guys know what that does. The tuning on this is going to be a -2.61, so very close to all the way maxed out, and then maxed out here on the bottom. So that's my full build there for the Cast-Off 545. Hope you guys enjoy this build. And last but definitely not least, I want to give you guys another SMG. That's going to be the FSS Hurricane. So this was buffed towards the end of Season 4, but with all those overpowered pistols, it kind of got thrown under the rug. But ever since the pistols, everything all got nerfed, all these different buffs and changes, the FSS Hurricane is a top tier gun to be able to use. So first attachment here is going to be that Spiral V3.5 flash hider for that muzzle flash concealment and recoil steadiness. Everyone knows that sometimes the muzzle flash in Warzone can be a little bit weird. It can be a little bit cumbersome just to see around. So I'm really glad that we have this flash hider on here to kind of really help with that and stabilize the gun out. The tune on this here is going to be a -0.19 and a +0.23. Skipping the barrel, going right up in here, we're going to run the Schlager PEQ box. This is going to give us that aim down sight speed. This is essentially the 1MW quickfire laser, but for this gun. We really enjoy running this. Makes you so much more effective at close range when you can ADS. Like I said, you are much more effective when you can aim down sights instead of hip firing. A lot more of your shots are going to hit. Granted, as long as you can actually, get your aim on target. But with that being said, you are going to be a lot more accurate when you're ADSing. The tune on this here is going to be negative 0.27 and a negative 31.26. This can be a little bit more relative down here. It doesn't have to be exactly that, because I know some of these numbers are hard to get to, especially when you're tuning with your controller. That's why I tune all my stuff with my mouse, since I play on PC, or controller on PC. Next up, we're going to go for that 5.7 times 28 millimeter overpressured round. So this is going to help with that target flinch. Basically, when people are shooting at you and you shoot at them, their aim is going to be more prone to going off you, off target. So they're going to start missing some shots when you're actually hitting more shots, and you're going to win a lot more of those close quarters gunfights as a result of it. So this is a really good ammunition type, and I recommend it. The tune on that here is going to be a plus 0.50 and a negative 0.87. And then we're going to go back here to the rear grip section now for that phantom grip. Sprint to fire, aim down sight speed, really great rear grip here. It makes this gun more effective at just being fast. We really like to be fast in close quarters, so this is something that's going to help us out with that. The tune on this here is going to be a negative 0.55 and a negative 0.28. And then lastly, we have the demo quicksilver stock for that sprint speed, aim walking speed, crouch movement speed, and aim down sight speed. So really great attachment here to speed this gun up to like its absolute max without screwing it over and making it uncontrollable. The tune on that here is going to be a negative 2.84 and a negative 1.08. That is my full top 5 for Season 5. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like for the algorithm, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.